This is the meditation video that corresponds to TSD Mindfulness teachings 5, 6, 7, and 8. So those teachings are in separate videos. This is the meditation that goes along with them. So in the last meditation video that corresponded with teachings 1, 2, 3, and 4, I invited you to be curious about the sound while you were concentrating on a sound that was in your environment. And we talked about will and when it is beneficial to use will during TSD mindfulness practice and when it's beneficial not to use will during your practice. So we use our will to direct our attention. Remember, we shifted our eyeballs as a way to understand how during our meditation we can do the same thing with our consciousness. We can shift our attention. So we're going to use our will during our meditation practice to shift our attention. And we're also going to use our will to stay seated, to stay on the mat, as opposed to getting up and leaving and say, oh, I'm done. Concentration is really important to the TSD mindfulness practice, and concentration is one of the factors of enlightenment, which is part of the Buddhist teachings. So the factors of enlightenment that go with the Buddhist teachings are concentration, which we're talking a lot about here. Mindfulness is the awareness, which we're going to be talking a lot about here. Investigation is another one of the factors of enlightenment that we talk a lot about here. I call it curiosity. So we're actually going to be going into that more detail in this video. And another factor of enlightenment is tranquility, and that is quieting our mental field. And another one is equanimity, which is calming your emotions. In TSD mindfulness, we don't talk as much about quieting our emotions. We are more talking about leaning into our emotional experience and experiencing our emotions in a healthy way. So it differs a little bit from the factors of enlightenment and Buddhist teachings. And the last two factors of enlightenment are joy, and joy is in the heart field, right? We move our consciousness into the heart field and we can open up to that joy. And effort is the last of the factors of enlightenment. And yes, it takes some discipline and effort to sit down and go through the steps of the TSD mindfulness practice. So I like to go over some tips during these videos for your meditation practice to help you better with that practice. In the last video, I went over rotation and how it can be really helpful to rotate your attention between different stimuli. So maybe that's between different sounds if you're listening to sounds. If you're paying attention to your body, maybe that's rotating between different parts of your body that you're paying attention to. Or it could be rotating from a sound to your body, to your breath, for example. So having that rotation can just be enough activity to help you stay more alert and focused in the beginning stages of your meditation journey, meaning maybe 6 months later, maybe a year later, you don't need the rotation. You can just simply use your single pointed focus on one object. But the rotation can be helpful when you're starting. And another tip that I went over in the last video for the meditation is the ebb and flow of your practice. So when we meditate, it's an ebb and flow experience. We are focused, we're concentrated, and then we lose our focus, we lose our concentration. And that's just part of the process. And so it's important to be open to that and be gentle with yourself, because that is the process. So when you do lose your focus, that's okay. Just noticing it in a very gentle way. And you can be curious about what it was maybe that distracted you. What was the thought about? And then the next step is to bring your attention back to your stimulus, whether that's the sound or the physical sensation or your breath. So those are the tips that I went over in the last meditation. So in this video, I'd like to talk about the qualities of attention. We actually touched on that in the last video when I led you to be curious about the sound. So qualities of attention are, it's what is the quality of your attention that you're bringing to the moment In your meditation, are you being curious? That's one of the qualities of attention. Are you being judgmental? That's a quality of attention, a type of attention that you might be bringing to your practice. So if you're bringing a judgmental attention to your practice, then you might be judging the sounds that you're hearing. You might be judging the truck that's driving by. You might be judging the guy who's mowing his lawn and disturbing your meditation. So those are some examples of when you might be bringing judgment to your meditation experience. And so what I like to teach is that it's not being wrong. If you're being judgmental, you're not doing it wrong. But what we can do is be aware, become mindful that that is what we're doing. So we can be like, oh, I'm in judgmental attention right now. And just be mindful and kind about it. But being awake to it, really, really knowing that that's the type of attention that you're bringing. Another type of attention that you might be bringing is non-judgmental attention. So being aware of that, like, oh, I'm really being very neutral or non-judgmental about some of the things that are going on, the pains in my body or the sounds that I'm hearing, things like that. Or being non-judgmental and more neutral about the thoughts that you're thinking about, what's distracting you during your meditation. So that's the quality of attention that's non-judgmental. Another quality of attention could be emotional. You might be bringing some emotional attention to your practice. And an example of that might be, you might be meditating with your eyes open, looking at a candle, and you notice that you're actually like feeling some anger toward the candle, right? And maybe that's because before the meditation, there was something that you were angry about and you brought that into your meditation. And again, it's not like bad, but it's more about being aware. I'm noticing this. I'm mindful. I'm mindful that I'm bringing emotion into my meditation today. I'm noticing I'm bringing this anger into it, and just being awake and aware that that's what's happening. Another type of attention would be equanimity. Equanimity is this kind of non-emotional calmness type attention that you might be bringing to your meditation experience. So again, not that we have to be non-emotional, not that we can't be emotional. It's just about being really aware of where you're at during your meditation. And another quality of attention is task-oriented attention. So if we are in task-oriented attention, that might mean we are thinking about the tasks that we need to do after we meditate. So we're bringing in that need to do tasks into our meditation. And a lot of times what will happen is we will become aware of that, say, oh, I'm in task-oriented attention. I'm thinking about tasks I need to do. And then we might shift, and then we might start experiencing our meditation as if it's a task. Like, oh, did I do this? Did I do that? And oh, I'm not doing it right. I'm not going to get the outcome that I want to be. That's still task-oriented attention, and something to be careful of and aware of, right? To wake up to, like, oh, I'm in task-oriented attention. I'm leading my meditation as if this is a task that I need to accomplish. So those are just a few examples of the qualities of attention. Those are the ones that are on the sheet, the qualities of attention that you have access to if you're in a TSD mindfulness training program. But there's an unlimited, infinite number of qualities of attention that you could bring to your meditation. So you might find some other different type of qualities, but those are some of the most common. So we'll practice some of being aware of the qualities of attention today during our meditation. And there's one more tip that I wanted to share, and that's about the thalamus. The thalamus is a part of our brain that is in charge of deciding which stimuli come in for processing, which are processed in which ways. It's kind of like the gatekeeper. The thalamus is a gatekeeper in the brain for our sensory stimuli. So the thing about the thalamus is it breaks our attention about 4 times a minute. So it's good to be aware of that. So when you're in your meditation and you're noticing your attention is breaking and you're kind of scanning your environment, perhaps that is the thalamus breaking your attention. So Be kind to yourself. Just say, oh, well, that's my brain working. So that might be helpful for you if you notice yourself breaking your attention. It's totally natural. And I think I missed one other tip in the last class that I talked about in the meditation video, and that is saying that whatever you're paying attention to is enough. This breath is enough. This sound is enough. Because a lot of times our thinking goes into chatter mode. And because we don't think that the sound that we're listening to is enough, we have to bring more into the experience. We have to take more advantage of this moment, pack more into it. But really, it's just enough. Paying attention to your breath is enough, and so forth. So those are some tips. And I think we'll go ahead and move into the meditation. And we are going to focus on physical sensations in this meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I'd like you to take in 3 intentional breaths. So we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let your shoulders drop. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, see if you can relax your forehead. As you exhale, another deep breath in. And as you exhale, allow your abdominal muscles to relax. And just return to natural pace of breathing. And I'd like you to move your attention to your scalp. We're going to do a body scan. So notice any physical sensations in your scalp area. You might notice a tingling, a temperature, tension. If your attention is distracted by thinking, that's okay. Just be curious what that thinking's about. Then bring your attention back to your physical body, paying attention to your scalp. Move your attention to your forehead and notice any physical sensations in your forehead area. There might be tension there. No judgment on whatever you're noticing. It's just about being in the present moment, being very aware. I'd like you to see if you can notice what the air feels like touching the skin of your forehead. It's a very subtle sensation. It might feel like breeze. It might feel like temperature. Allow that awareness of the air touching your forehead to bring you into this present moment. Move your attention to your eyes. We have so many muscles in our eyes. See if you can take a moment to notice what those muscles feel like. Is there fatigue? Is there strain? And also check in with the quality of your attention. What type of attention are you bringing to this moment? Are you being curious about what you're noticing? Are you being judgmental? Do you feel distracted? No judgment on the type of attention you're bringing to your practice in this moment. It's just about being aware and knowing what type of attention you're bringing to the moment. Move your attention down to your jaw, bringing some curiosity to your experience. What do you feel? What physical sensations are in your jaw area? Does anything feel tense? You could purposefully relax your jaw if you'd like, but it's more about being aware of your body in this moment. Move your attention down to your neck and shoulders, noticing any physical sensations there. Perhaps you notice clothing touching your skin. Perhaps you notice movement with your breath. Again, if your attention is distracted with thought, be curious about what that thought is about. And then gently move your attention back to your body, back to your shoulders. Move your attention down your arms. What physical sensations do you feel in the muscles of your arms? Any ache, any itch, any tenderness? Can you feel the clothing on your arms? Notice your elbows and your wrists. Do they feel heavy? And again, notice what type of attention you're bringing to your practice. Are you focused? Are you in judgment? Are you thinking about tasks? Notice your hands. See if you can notice the air touching your hands. Allowing that subtlety to bring you into the present moment. Move your attention to your abdomen area. Notice the muscles there, possibly contracting and expanding. Notice any tension that's possibly there. If you do feel tension in your abdominal area, be curious about that tension. Could that be related to a concern about your physical health or someone else's physical health? Could that tension be related to a concern about feeling an emotion that might feel uncomfortable? Could that tension be related to the way someone views you, or maybe the way you view yourself? Maybe negative self-talk. And whether you are experiencing that tension in your abdomen or not, we'll practice soothing your gut. So consider an aspect of your life that brings you feelings of stability. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your home. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's something from nature. Maybe it's something spiritual. Consider that aspect of your life that brings you stability. Maybe reflecting on memories, noticing it visually. Maybe feeling the emotions that you feel when you are in this place or with this person. And again, if you get distracted, that's okay. Just bring your attention back to the sound of my voice and the sensations in your gut area. And reflecting on something in your life that brings you a feeling of stability. Then I'd like you to shift to another aspect of your life that brings you feelings of stability. do the same thing, experiencing it visually or emotionally. And use your mindfulness to notice how this practice is affecting your physical body, especially in your gut area. You could check in with the quality of your attention. Are you feeling focused? Are you feeling distracted? Are you feeling curious? Are there any emotions that are coming up? And still just noticing the physical sensations in your gut area. Maybe paying attention to your diaphragm, that muscle, being very aware of when it's contracting with your breath and very aware when it's expanding as you take an inhale. And consider safety, reminding yourself, I am safe in my body. I am safe to experience my emotions. And then I'd like you to move your attention to your heart area, your chest, noticing the physical sensations there. You might notice the movement of your chest with your breathing. Using your will to keep yourself concentrated in your heart area, noticing the physical sensations there. Do you notice tension, numbness? Or does it feel light? Whatever you feel, it's completely okay. It's just about being aware of what you notice in your heart area on a physical level. If you get distracted, just bring your attention back to your heart area, to those physical sensations. And consider that our heart is where we can really experience our deep emotions. But just being open to any deep emotions that might surface. And there might not be any emotions that surface, and that's completely fine too, but just being open to it. You might even consider a deep emotion that you've experienced in the last few days, whether it was difficult or felt good. Maybe it was pain. Maybe it was gratitude. Maybe it was love. Maybe it was a feeling of feeling misunderstood or unheard. Whatever it is, allow the emotion to be there in your heart. Creating space for it, experiencing the emotion in a healthy way, meaning we don't get caught up in the thinking that the emotion might instigate. Just instead focus more on the physical sensations associated with the emotion. How do I feel this emotion in my body? Can I feel this emotion and separate from my thinking? Can I honor my emotional experience in this moment? being open to any rhythmic energies that you might be aware of. Just these deep essences in our hearts that drive who we are. What is that deep essence in your heart, that rhythmic essence in your heart that drives you from moment to moment, for better or for worse? No judgment on what you notice. It's just about being aware, holding space for what's there, and acceptance. With your consciousness in your heart, allow yourself to move into acceptance of yourself. Just accepting yourself exactly who you are, what you are in this moment, with whatever physical sensations, with whatever emotions. And then we'll go ahead and conclude the meditation. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. We had a focus on the physical sensations in your body. We also had a focus on touching base, being aware of what qualities you're bringing to the moment, what qualities of attention you're bringing to the moment. Thank you. This concludes this video.